Alexander Isak to Liverpool. Journalist drops bombshell update Liverpool. Here's the latest, and it's a big one. Liverpool have spent all of 2025 with Alexander Isak as their top transfer target. In truth, he's been in their sights for many years, but this is the summer where it felt like an absolute no-brainer. Isak, after all, has been sensational for Newcastle United. He was unquestionably the top striker in the Premier League last season, something that felt impossible given Erling Haaland is in the league, but that's how good Isak was. He was the star of Newcastle's successful UEFA Champions League push, scoring 23 times across the campaign. Liverpool are eager to sign him and would break the British transfer record to do it. They actually made their first proper offer a week ago, only for the Magpies to reject it. They're not willing to give up on retaining the striker. There's hope of finding an elite replacement, too, though. That took a massive blow this week. Benjamin Sesko, their top target, picked Manchester United for reasons that are beyond us. It leaves Newcastle floundering a bit and seemingly unable to find the player who would allow Isak to leave. Journalist Ben Jacobs is adamant that Newcastle's position isn't that they must replace Isak before selling, but rather that they still harbor hopes of renewing his contract. In that sense, the failure to sign Sesko has no effect on a potential sale to Liverpool. Understand Newcastle's failure to sign Benjamin Sesko does not affect the Alexander Isak situation, Jacobs wrote on Twitter. Newcastle have other attackers in mind, and NUFC's feeling remains Isak must be sold or extend with no middle ground. Isak has to date shown no willingness to do latter.Liverpool, ready to bid again if given encouragement. This is a bombshell update, honestly. The chances of Isak renewing feel like literally zero right now, unless Newcastle significantly break their wage structure with an offer. And so if he doesn't extend his contract, he'll be off, and that means to Liverpool. If Jacobs is correct, it's only a matter of time. Isak has his pick of two clubs essentially. All reports indicate he wants Liverpool. As long as the Reds hold out here and don't move on to new targets, they should get their man. Should plot Liverpool FC transfer Bluebirds can offer career restart? Cade Gordon's first season on loan away from Liverpool was a disaster. As the 20-year-old struggled for the game time a youngster desperately needs, the winger was initially loaned out to Norwich City for the entire season, which was an exciting prospect given the Canaries' rep for creating plenty of chances compared to their championship rivals. However, Gordon couldn't dislodge the informed BOMBSHELL or the new £8.5 million Croatian winger Ante Kornak from Johannes Hofthorup's lineup. Starting just once in a 2-0 defeat to Sheffield Wednesday, Arne Slot's side recalled him in January and sent him back out on loan to another second-tier side. Still, his time at Portsmouth was arguably even worse. Being left on the bench for 8 of the 16 games he spent at Fratton Park and making just 5 appearances from the bench. The 20-year-old's progression has been stunted massively over the past 12 months, and his standing to return to Liverpool and make more of an impact in the first team has been impacted greatly. Another loan move is needed, and whilst the exciting winger clearly has championship quality within, a move to a league one side with guaranteed game time may be wiser. If this ends up being the case, then Brian Barry Murphy's Cardiff City should be at the top of his wish list. The average age of Cardiff's team in their opening weekend win against Peterborough United was 23. 28-year-old Ryan Wintle was the only player in Barry Murphy's starting 11 over the age of 23, and 4 of his starters were under 21 under Barry Murphy. The Bluebirds seem to be in a new era where the main focus is on developing young talent, an area in which the 47-year-old head coach has plenty of experience. Having overseen Manchester City's academy for 3 years between 2021 and 2024, before he joined Leicester City as a first-team coach, 8 players aged 28 or over departed the Cardiff City Stadium this past summer, further stamping home the point that there's a new style in the Welsh capital. And if the performances mirror what was seen in their 2-1 win over Posh, then Cardiff fans are in for an exciting season. Premier League sides will have had an eye on Saturday lunchtime's game to see how these young talents performed under Barry Murphy, and the setup would arguably entice them to send players to Cardiff on loan to develop if they don't feel that they are completely ready to take on the championship. So, Both Liverpool and Gordon himself should be excited about that prospect. With Ali Tanner as the club's only natural right winger, Cardiff may be in for another in that position before the end of the window. The 20-year-old would not only provide quality depth for Barry Murphy's side throughout a long League One campaign, but he'd be hungry to take that starting spot off of Tanner and make the third-tier promotion hopefuls even better on the pitch. Gordon wasn't given much time to impress in the Championship, but he showed in bursts that he could keep up with the pace of the second tier at times. Another loan move seems likely this summer for the 20-year-old, but a return to the Championship could prove too risky, as Gordon really doesn't need a repeat of last year's frustrations at not getting into the starting 11 regularly. Therefore, a move to League One instead would give the Liverpool winger the opportunity to prove himself against lesser opposition, whilst still having that pressure to perform week in, week out for a side challenging near the top of the third tier in a competitive, youthful squad, and with Barry Murphy's track record of developing young stars. There arguably isn't a better League One side than Cardiff for an exciting prospect.